Hello. Welcome to our week. It's raining. Hello, everyone. Ooh. Like the one making my rain. Hello. Hi, Ignis. Okay. Ooh. No, that's not what's supposed to happen. Goodness, what happened? Hold on. There we are. Hello. Hello, everyone. I hope we're having a good day, good evening, good morning, or whatever time you're in. Hello. Hello. I'm good. I've enjoyed a lot of sun today, and that was nice. Alrighty. We're doing fairy tales today, right now. And I think this week it will be spooky stories, SCPs, in the second stream. Oh, right. I didn't run an ad yet. I have to run an ad. Oh, no. I'm going to run that quickly. And then we'll get into things. We'll read the first story in a bit. But okay, I'm going to run an ad. I'm so sorry. Oop. Hi, Ratty. Hello. Hi. Oh, everybody settle in. Join. Oh, I can do this. I can prepare this way. Quite a hectic day. Lots of things needed done. So I am slowly putting things together. But it feels good to sit and settle in here now. Oh no! Dark Storm rolled a 1. Okay. Why me? Aw, poor Dark Storm. Alright. Okay, now that we have the ad done. Hellos again. Hellos. Yeah, so we're doing fairy tales right now. And I don't know for sure if I'm going to be able to do a stream tonight. Hopefully it goes fine. But certainly the rest of this, my little streaming super short weekend weeks, whatever, I'm going to do fairy tales in the early stream and SCPs in the later one. So that's the plan for this week, if you want to join us for those. Ooh, nice riz, Ignis. That's nice. You've upgraded, yes. Ooh, Yar has 79. Not bad at all. Weird 10-point spread there, Ignis and Yar. But alright. We're going to read fairy tales for the early stream. I don't usually do fairy tales in the early stream. I like having fairy tales at the end. But we're going for it this week. 97! There you go, you got that good number at least. There you go. Alright, let's jump into the first story I have. So the first one is called The Seven Foals. Boo 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 boo. And we'll get going here. 53. That's so meh. That's not the right number. That's a bot playing a joke. Okay. The Seven Foals. Here we go. There was once upon a time a couple of poor folks who lived in a wretched hut, far away from everyone else in a wood. They only just managed to live from hand to mouth, and had great difficulty in doing even so much as that. But they had 3 sons, and the youngest of them was called Cinder Lad, for he did nothing else but lie and poke among the ashes. We had a Cinder Lad reference before. Did we? I know we did. Where? Who is that one? Was it called Cinder Lad? Drop in chat or the comments if you know that we've done which one, because I know we've done a Cinder Lad before. Just don't know where. Ooh, thank you for the follow. Eric Relux? Is that what we say? Hi, look at the little frogs. I am glad I made the first 5 frogs free for everyone. It was a good move. I am glad. Oh, Agnes, I don't know why it's not working with the love. Oh my goodness, maybe you just need to wait longer for the cooldown. I'm just seeing all that. I've done it before where I take a bunch of time trying to find the other story we've had, but I know that this Cinderlad one wasn't all that long ago. Should have been able to find it in my book, but I did not. Anyway, we've got a Cinderella gender swap thing, and I remember doing that one before. Ooh! What an interesting name. I was like, yay, another follow. And then I'm like, oh goodness, what the heck? And I have my rule. I always say someone's name when they follow. Hello, welcome in, P after. I mean, it's good advice. Okay. Here we go, though. Where were we? Cinderlad. Yes. Yes, the youngest of the 3 sons for poor folks in a wretched hut in a wood. Here we go. One day the eldest lad said that he would go out to earn his living. He soon got leave to do that, and set out on his way into the world. He walked on and on for the whole day, and when night was beginning to fall, he came to a royal palace. The king was standing outside on the steps and asked where he was going. Yeah, I imagine something like that. You with your name P after. Makes sense. Okay. Yes, there's a king on the steps for this palace. They're asking where this eldest son is going. Oh, I am going about seeking a place, my father. What a weird sentence. Sorry. What the heck? I'm going about seeking a place, my father, because back then they would just call people that were like their elders father or mother, and it feels so weird. But anyway, I'm seeking a place, my father, said the youth. Wilt thou serve me and watch my 7 foals? Asked the king. If thou canst watch them for a whole day and tell me at night what they eat and drink, thou shalt have the princess and half my kingdom. But if thou canst not, I will cut 3 red stripes on thy back. You'll cut 3 stripes? I mean, it makes sense. Like, I imagine it wouldn't be absurd if he would whip them, but like it sounds like he would actively like carve out a little. That sounds so messed up. Jeez. We're immediately into some nonsense. Early modern English moment. Yes, very true. And then straight into early English, punishment. But okay, the youth thought that it was very easy to watch the foals and that he could do it well enough. Oh no! Classic freaking yawns. It reminds me of a song I repeat after me, Crispy. It is a fun one. I love that song. I just put my newborn son into a blender. Like the trees they are? What? Oh, you like to yawn? Sorry. I I get a giggle at that. Okay, I'm losing my spaces. I'm very spacey today. My brain is not going to be on task. Um, yes, the youth thinks that he could watch after the foals well enough. If I remember this, or maybe it's a mashing of stories, but I'm fairly certain what is going to happen is the son will not be able to watch after the horses. The next son will not be able to watch after the horses. And our young cinder lad will be able to after some crazy way that he's gotten help some way. But it will happen. Okay. Next morning, when day was beginning to dawn, the king's master of the horse let out the 7 foals. And they ran away, and the youth after them, just as it chanced, over the hill and dale, through woods and bogs. Instead of and with an A, it's E. I think that's just miswritten, but oh well. When the youth had run thus for a long time, he began to be tired, and when he had held on a little longer, he was heartily weary of watching it all, and at the same moment he came to a cleft in a rock where an old woman was sitting spinning with her distaff in her hair. What? Brain. I skipped over to like 2 lines down. Her distaff in her hand. As soon as she caught sight of the youth, who was running after the foals till the perspiration streamed down his face, she cried, come hither, my handsome son, and let me comb your hair for you." The lad was willing enough, so he sat down in the cleft of the rock beside the old hag, and laid his head on her knees, and she combed his hair all day while he lay there and gave himself up to idleness. When evening was drawing near, the youth wanted to go. "I may just as well go straight home again," said he, "for it is no use to go to the king's palace." "Wait till it is dusk," said the old hag, "and then the king's foals will pass by this place again, and you can run home with them. No one will ever know that you have been lying here all day instead of watching the foals." Knowing that they called her hag and not like fairy or just woman, this is not going to go well for this son. Also, only the youngest had a name. So, and this is the eldest, so I don't think we're going to see this guy have a good happy ending. We're going to see him be properly failing and put into an end. Ooh, sorry. Streamer, what is your favorite signature, or what is your signature trigger? And then I see, I'm trying to guess your favorite color is green. It's a good guess. Signature trigger? I mean, there's one that we do a lot of, but I don't want to tell you and cause more chaos. As of late, there's one where someone had misread page ruffling, and they got the P and the R mixed up, so they read rage puffing. And so I do rage puffing every now and then. Yeah, shush, bratty, shush. I have to extremely limit it because I can't, it's not something I can do a full minute of very easily. And I knew that was coming. See, this is why I wasn't gonna say it. But I've got so many frogs, I would say that I do the singing frog. I do a singing bull well. I've got little keys. I'm happy with frickin' a lot of my triggers. I like the trigger words and the humming too. We have fake knife sharpening. That one's good. I don't know if I have a signature exactly, but it seems to be coming rage puffing, which is something. But anyway, and then Bratty the Ent. No, not Ent. It's not a It's not a tree man. It was weird. It was, where was it? It was like something and bogs is what it was. Or woods and bogs? Or it was something about him like running to different places. Anyway. Can we get beating us with a frying pan instead? I feel like if I beat the microphone with a frying pan, that would, one, ruin my microphone, two, be very loud and unhelpful for an ASMR stream. I could try and figure out a way to bap you, though. Bap, bap, baps, you know. Maybe with the brush. I'll do baps. Like the You've Been Naughty bonks. Bap, bap, bap. It's not a tree, mean. I'm sorry. Please, no. Pool noodle bapping. Those are fun. That's a good bap. That's a like a floppy arm noodle flap. Awesome choice of words, right? It's not. It's not an ent. It was end. E-N-D. Anyway, okay. There you go. You have a little ramble about signature triggers, I guess. Okay. Oh yeah. The kid's like, what do I do? And the hag, obviously not a heroic character for us. She's like, it'll be fine. But okay. She says that you could lie about it. It'll be fine. You don't even understand what it means. Which it? Because me too, probably. The lady says just lie about it. Yes. So when the horses came back, she gave the lad a bottle of water and a bit of moss, and told him to show these to the king, and say that this was what the 7 foals ate and drank. Hast thou watched faithfully and well the whole day long? Said the king, when the lad came into his presence in the evening. Yes, that I have, said the youth. Then you are able to tell me what it is that my 7 foals eat and drink, said the king. So the youth produced the bottle of water and the bit of moss which he had got from the old woman, saying, Here you see their meat, and here you see their drink. And back then, meat wasn't really supposed to be like specific to like piece of living animal meat. Meat could mean like dinner, just like meal. So, okay. Then the king knew how his watching had been done, and fell into such a rage that he ordered his people to chase the youth back to his own home at once. But first they were to cut 3 red stripes in his back and rub salt into them. Okay, did we need to do the salt? No. That was not included in the deal that we made at the start of this. Mean old king man. Jeez. When the youth reached home again, anyone can imagine what a state of mind he was in. He had gone out once to seek a place. Yawn's attacking me. I'm not doing good at breathing right now. I'm just like run on sentences. Oh. Okay. Oh yeah. He had gone out once to seek a place, he said, but never would he do such a thing again. Dun dun dun. Next day the second son said that he would now go out into the world to seek his fortune. His father and mother said no. Sorry, just the way that it's put here is kind of funny. And bade him look at his brother's back. But the youth would not give up his design and stuck to it. And after a long, long time he got leave to go and set forth on his way. When he had walked all day, he too came to the king's palace, and the king was standing outside on the steps. Why does a king stand on the steps of a palace and just like wait for people to show up? Feels weird. Oh no, Dark Storm, not Monday. Everyone insert your various Garfield gifts or emotes or whatever you have. Not Monday. Oh, fun fact, if you want scaring, if you want scarring, you rub salt in the wound? That's interesting. So if I want to look real cool with a very specific scar, if I want an eyebrow slit, I just got to make sure I put a bunch of salt in a cut there. And there's your... Is that how that work? Where were we? The little dude, the middle kid, he's like, nah, I don't care that he's all hurt. I'ma go. Right? Oh yeah, and then the king is back outside on the steps. Such a weird thing. He's out on the steps and asked where he was going. And when the youth replied that he was going about in search of a place, which sounds so weird. I'm going about in search of a place. Not, I want to find my way in the world, or I want to find who I am, you know. I'm going about in search of a place. Everything is very vague with these children or young men, whatever. The cut does have to be deep. Yes. Oh. Dimda, no. Ow. What? Stop. Don't do it. Ow. No. Dimda. No. Don't do. You're all going to have it one moment. We're all going to have it Have what in one moment? Search of a place in life. Yes. But like, they word it so funny. Okay, but he says he's looking. The king said that he might enter into his service and watch his 7 foals. Ah! Okay, enough little... the Monday. There you go. I'm so sorry. The king promised him the same punishment and the same reward that he had promised his brother. What did he even say the reward was? I don't even remember the reward. I just remember there being a threat. Goodness. Oh, the princess in half the kingdom. I should have known. Ooh, thank you for the follow, Slay Paint. What are foals? Foals are young horses. Stings less than whiskey, though. I imagine so. That would not be very fun. Both would hurt. I don't know. Slay Paint, hi. Also, welcome to Emmanuel 259. Thank you for follow as well. Thank you joining. Hi. I have 700 followers and it didn't do the freaking goal thing. What happened to my goal? There's supposed to be a whole shebang. Ooh? Oh, it's set at 710. Why the heck is it set at 710? That's really stupid, but okay. Fine. I don't know why that's going on. It says it's starting, but it's like... anyway, okay. Hello. Hi. We got 700. Thank you for making us get to 700. Thank you. Where were we? Oh, yes. The second child tricked into this weird king to look after these foals, the young horses. The youth at once consented to this. Either do the task and get the princess's reward, or don't and get 3 stripes cut out of your back with salt rubbed into the wound. Ugh. Should have said it at 7-Eleven. No, we're not in support of corporations here. We're not really that kind of group. Well, okay. The youth at once consented to this, and he entered into the king's service, for he thought he could easily watch the foals and inform the king what they ate and drank. In these sort of situations, why do they never talk to each other? Or do they talk to each other and then every time the like next kid that goes up is like, but my brother's probably just bad at this. I'm better. No, he told you that the horses were running everywhere and you couldn't keep up. They told you that if you do this one thing, there's this old man that does this weird thing. And like with these ones where it's the brother and the brother and the brother, or the sister and the sister and the sister, do better. Learn from each other. But come on. Anyway, okay. In the grey light of dawn, the master of the horse led out the 7 foals, and off they went again, over hill and dale, and off went the lad after them. But all went with him as it had gone with his brother. When he had run after the foals for a long, long time, and was hot and tired, he passed by a cleft in the rock where an old woman, hey, they didn't call her a hag that time, was sitting spinning with a distaff, and she called to him, come hither, my handsome son, and let me comb your hair. The youth liked the thought of this, let the foals run where they chose, and seated himself in the cleft of the rock by the side of the old hag. Oh, okay, well, it didn't last long. So there he sat with his head on her lap, taking his ease with the livelong day. The foals came back in the evening, and then he too got a bit of a moss and a bottle of water from the old hag, which things he was to show to the king. But when the king asked the youth, canst thou tell me what my 7 foals eat and drink? And the youth showed him the bit of moss and the bottle of water, and said, yes, here may you behold their meat and hear their drink. The king once more became wroth, and commanded that the 3 red stripes should be cut on the lad's back, that salt should be strewn upon them, and that he should then be instantly chased back to his own home. So when the youth got home, again he too related all that had happened to him, and he too said that he had gone out in search of a place once, but that never would he do it again. So disappointing. No, sorry. Just seeing your little thing there. Something wrong with me. What do you mean there's something wrong with you? What? How? No, I disagree. Welcome to the group. Thank you for the follow. Mute021. Hello, hello. Exciting that someone else here seems to know you. Okay. On the 3rd day, the youngest, Cinderlad. On the 3rd day, Cinderlad wanted to set out. He had a fancy to try to watch the 7 foals himself, he said. So, unlike the other ones, it sounds like he was going about specifically to watch these foals because he had seen his brothers. I like it. The 2 others laughed at him and mocked him. When I when all went so ill with us. What? Am I having a stroke? Am I having a stroke? What I when all went so ill with us. I don't know how to say this to make it make sense. What I when all went so ill with us, do you suppose that you are going to succeed? I understand what it's trying to say with the ill with us and the latter half after that comma, but like, what I when all went? Okay. You like succeeding. You have never done anything else but lie and poke about among the ashes, said they. Yes, I will go too, said Cinderlad, for I have taken it into my head. Great. The 2 brothers laughed at him, and his father and mother begged him not to go, but all to no purpose, and Cinderlad set out on his way. So when he had walked the whole day, he too came to the king's palace as darkness began to fall. It's good now, but I felt a lot of stress before. Oh, I'm sorry you feel stress. I'm glad you are not feeling stress now. I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness. Okay. Um, There stood the king outside on the steps, and he asked whither he was bound. I am walking about in search of a place. What a vague freaking thing to say. From whence do you come then? Inquired the king. Did he ask before that? Before? Did he not ask that before? Inquired the king, for by this time he wanted to know a little more about the men before he took any of them into his service. It's time to do background checks, I guess. So Cinderlad told him whence he came, and that he was brother to the two who had watched the 7 foals for the king, and then he inquired if he might be allowed to try and watch them on the following day. I would think that after you say, yeah, I'm related to the other two who are also related, then maybe the king would be like, oh no, that's the problem, it's you lot. Get those idiots out of here. But also, back when, I guess, meant something different or had like a different spin to it. Whence? Okay, so let me get this straight. His task was to babysit hyperactive horse toddlers? Yeah. Hyperactive horse toddlers? Yeah. Preteens? Anyway, yeah. And so they just lose their minds. It would probably help if they like gave the horse dude a horse to ride when they run around. Or maybe before people cut into these horses, they could be like, hey, here's my report. Maybe if you want to do this next time, I would recommend you try this. No? No improvement on our techniques? Okay, fine. All right. Right, so Cinderlad says he's related to the other two. The king should say, oh, get out of here. But instead he says, oh, shame on them, said the king, for it enraged him to even think of them. If thou art brother to those two, thou too art no good. Hey, thou too art no good for much. I have had enough of such fellows. Smart. Ooh, hi, raiders. Hello. Go sleep, Darkstorm. We'll see you another time. Bye-byes. Bye-byes. Hi, Cage. No worries. Lurk a bit. Hello, raiders. Thank you for sending out the shout-out, Cage. Hello. I'm Elisa TV. Welcome in. Right on time. Welcome in. Hellos. We're in the middle of a goofy story. The summary is Brother 1 failed, Brother 2 failed, and now we have Cinderlad, who is going to try to do a weird-ass task set by a weird king. And we go. I'm so glad that we have the welcome thing. I love it. Oh, hey. I know some of yous. Let me go through. I have seen you. Hi, Gojira. I also say the real Patrick. Hi. Hellos. Okay. I'm going to jump back into story. But yes, we had 3 brothers, and the youngest, called Cinderlad, is up next on a weird task. Here we go. So far, so good. Thank you. I hope yours was very good. Feel free to go rest, lurk, get gone, whatever you need. Thank you for sharing your community. We're going to just keep moving along. All right. Right. Okay. So, Cinderlad is basically in his job interview, and the king says, whence did you come? And Cinderlad says he's related to the other two that tried and failed. And then the king's like, oh, geez, no, I have had enough of you weirdos. Oh, thank you for the follow, Emelisa. Thank you for the follow, Pika TTV. You too. Welcome, both of yous. And here we go. Well, but as I have come here, you might just give me leave to make the attempt, said Cinderlad. So he's like, well, I've come all this way, dude. Oh, very well. if thou art absolutely determined to have thy back flayed, oh yeah, because if you fail this task, they will, yeah, now they say flay, it's clear. You get whipped. You get 3 stripes cut from your back, is the way they say it, and then salt rubbed into the wound. Super cool of this king to say that. But if you somehow succeed in doing this weird task of watching some foals, you can have the princess to marry and half the kingdom. Of course. Anyway, he says, if you absolutely are determined to have thy back flayed, thou mayst have thine own way if thou wilt. It's a lot of old English, fairy tale words. Brace yourselves. Own way if thou wilt, said the king. I would much rather have the princess, said Cinderlad. No shit, buddy. Okay. Next morning, in the grey light of dawn, the master of the horse led out the 7 foals again, and off they set, over hill and dale, through woods and bogs. They didn't say "and" this time, they said "and," proper word. And off went Cinderlad after them. When he had run thus for a long time, he too came to the cleft in the rock, where the old hag was once more sitting, spinning from her distaff, and she cried to Cinderlad, come hither, my handsome son, and let me comb your hair for you." "Come to me, then, come to me," said Cinderlad, as he passed by, jumping and running, and keeping tight hold of one of the foal's tails. When he had safely got past the cleft in the rock, the youngest foal said, "Get on my back, for we still have a long way to go." So the lad did this, and I guess we have talking horses now. And thus they journeyed onwards a long, long way. They totally sidestepped the hag, and she has nothing else to say. We're done with her, I guess. And thus they journeyed a long way. "Dost thou see anything now?" said the foal. Sorry. "No," said Cinderlad. So they journeyed onwards a good bit farther. "Dost thou see anything now?" asked the foal. "Oh, no," said the lad. When they had gone thus for a long, long way, the foal again asked, "Dost thou see anything now?" "Yes, now I see something that is white," said Cinderlad. "It looks like the trunk of a great, thick birch tree." "Yes, that is where we are to go in," said the foal. When they got to the trunk, the eldest foal broke it down on one side, and then they saw a door where the trunk had been standing. Oh no! I had a yawn attack again. Okay. They saw a door in the trunk, and inside this there was a small room, and in the room there was scarcely anything but a small fireplace and a couple of benches, but behind the door hung a great rusty sword and a small pitcher. Does this tiny room from inside a tree house 7 horses? I mean, they're young horses, but still. Okay. Rusty sword, small pitcher, benches, not a lot. Fireplace. "Canst thou wield that sword?" asked the foal. Cinderlad tried, but could not do it, so he had to take a draught from the pitcher, and then one more, and after that still another, and then he was able to wield the sword with perfect ease. "Good," said the foal, "and now thou must take the sword away with thee, and with it shalt thou cut off the heads of all 7 of us on thy wedding day, and then we shall become princes again as we were before. Oh, for we are brothers of the princess whom thou art to have when thou canst tell the king what we eat and drink. But there is a mighty troll who has cast a spell over us. When thou hast cut off our heads, thou must take the greatest care to lay each head at the tail of the body to which it belonged before, and then the spell which the troll has cast upon us will lose all its power." Okay. Thank you for the very specific instructions, Mr. Foal. Cinderlad promised to do this, and then they went on farther. Oh, so the king is basically like, you'll marry a hopeless romantic, a rich person, some powerful warrior? Nah, you'll marry a man that watches horses, but he watches them really good. The best horse watcher I've ever seen, actually. Greatest of all horse watchers in history. To be fair,
even before we knew about these foals being the princes, we knew that they were a rowdy bunch of horses. It took a lot of effort. So I guess the king would be able to say, hey, he may not be one of those folks, but he is frickin' determined. And he got fit. He got proper fit running after. He kept up. He runs fast. Girl, he's got a hell of endurance. He can run with the horses. He's good. I mean, that's pretty good. It's a reason to be impressed. Okay. Cinderlad promised to do this, do the weird cutting off their heads and such. And then they went on farther. When they had traveled a long, long way, but their magic was... When they traveled a long, long way, the foal said, "Dost thou see anything?" "No." So they went on a great distance further. Sorry, no, said Cinderlad. So they went on a great distance further. "And now?" inquired the foal. "Seest thou nothing now?" "Alas, no," said Cinderlad. So they travelled onwards again, for many and many a mile, over hill and dale. "Now then," said the foal, "dost thou not see anything now?" "Yes." Considering the double negative. No, the one negative. "Yes," doesn't really fit, but okay. "Yes," said Cinderlad. "Now I see something like a bluish streak, far, far away." Is this where the expression blank as a stallion come from? Mayhaps. Mayhaps. Bratty putting pieces together. Oh, welcome to Emerald Nate. Thank you for the follow. I'm not totally sure how you want me to say this name, but Exako? Welcome, welcome. Hello. Thank you for the follow. Okay, so we see something bluish. "That is a river," says the foal. That would make sense. Thank you. And we have to cross it. There was a long, handsome bridge over the river. Oh, it's handsome, is it? And when they got to the other side of it, they again traveled on a long, long way. And then once more the foal inquired if Cinderlad saw anything. Don't do the rule of 3 again, please. So soon after the last one, please. Yes, this time he saw something. Okay, good. That looked black, far, far away, and was rather like a church tower. "Yes," said the foal, "we shall go into that." When the foals got into the churchyard, they turned into men and looked like the sons of a king. I thought that only happens when he chops off their heads. Oh, okay. They looked like the princes, and their clothes were so magnificent that they shone with splendor. And they went into the church and received bread and wine from the priest, who was standing before the altar. Is that also a horse? Is the priest also a horse? And Cinderlad went in too. But when the priest had laid his hands on the princes and read the blessing, they went out of the church again, and Cinderlad went out too, but he took with him a flask of wine and some consecrated bread. No sooner had the 7 princes come out into the churchyard than they became foals again, and Cinderlad got upon the back of the youngest, and they returned by the way they had come, only they went much, much faster. The heavily insert of Christianity and the magic of Jesus in this one is so funny. It's just silly. It's like the Eucharist was the Mario magic mushrooms or something. They got a power up. But also in my head I was thinking, like, why do they turn into people? Did the priest be like, "No, I cannot have horses in this church. Illegal. Turn into men at once." They're like, "We're cursed." And he's like, "I don't care." It's just so stupid. They're like trying to say, "Woohoo, magic Jesus." Then why is a troll? Why is a troll able to do shit? Because magic Jesus would be pretty upset that you believe in trolls. Just saying. There's a problem. I always love how out of left field some of these stories are. They really are. They're turning him into a furry. Yeah. No worries. Sorry I missed the beginning today. I don't take attendance. Said you're okay. Out cold for a long nap. That's nice. That's good. I like nap. I need sleeps. That would be good. Um, but no worries. I'm okay. Thank you for joining me. It's nice you're here now. I don't mind. Okay, goofy little first story. They go faster now. They got their power up. Okay. First, they went over the bridge, and then past the trunk of the birch tree, and then past the old hag who sat in the cleft of the rock spinning. And they went by so fast that Cinderlad could not hear what the old hag screeched after him. Oh, burn on you, old lady, but just heard enough to understand that she was terribly enraged. Fair enough. It was all but dark when they got back to the king at nightfall, and he himself was standing in the courtyard waiting for them. Hast thou watched well and faithfully the whole day? Said the king to Cinderlad. I have done my best, replied Cinderlad. If only the other two had said that, and they're like, and we failed. I'm so sorry. Like, maybe they wouldn't have got hurt. Then thou canst tell me what my 7 foals eat and drink? Asked the king. So Cinderlad pulled out the consecrated bread and the flask of wine and showed them to the king. Here may you behold their meat and hear their drink, said he. Yes, diligently and faithfully hast thou watched, said the king, and thou shalt have the princess and half the kingdom. Cinderlad no clue was she had, but she mad though. Oh yeah, the hag, yeah. Voice. You shall have the princess. Woohoo! Yay! Of course. Women are objects. Prizes. Yay! Woo! Okay. So all was made ready for the wedding, and the king said it was to be so stately and magnificent that everyone should hear of it and everyone inquire about it. But when they sat down to the marriage feast, the bridegroom arose and went down to the stable, for he said that he had forgotten something which he must go and look to. When he got there, he did what the foals had bidden him, and cut off the heads of all the 7. First the eldest, and then the second, and so on according to their age. Do they all stand in order? And he was extremely careful to lay each head at the tail of the foal to which it had belonged. Good, because otherwise it would be a weird mismatch. Bob's head on Stephen's body. Concern. And when that was done, all the foals became princes again. When he returned to the marriage feast with the 7 princes, the king was so joyful that he both kissed Cinderlad and clapped him on the back, and his bride was still more delighted with him than she had been before. Okay, so she's excited. That's good. That's good. Half my kingdom is thine already, said the king, and the other half shall be thine after my death, for my sons can get countries and kingdoms for themselves now that they have become princes again. Good for them. Okay. Therefore, as all may well believe, there was joy and merriment at that wedding. The end. Sometimes these, conclusion sentences are just so weird. Funky wording there, but okay. Yay, happy ending. The wedding was fun. That there was no happy ever after. They just said there was a happy wedding. There you go. Not marriage even. Just the wedding was nice. But okay. There was the 7 foals. And we've got plenty of redeems already lined up. Therefore, we wrap up the story in one final sentence. That's all that mattered. It was a happy wedding in the end. Oh, come on, dingy. I said click. But are the princes still alive, though? I imagine so. I don't see why they aren't. But, here we go. I'll put that one at the ready. Oh, that one's a quick one. That's good. All right. Let's start with these trigger words from Generium. You're not late, Frigid. You're not late. I don't take attendance. You're okay. Okay. I mean, they turned back, but they're still headless, though. No. I imagine they weren't still headless. They got put on the right bodies. They came back together. He said that they would be themselves again when they were their heads chopped off. So, um, do. Yes, I said I would start with trigger words. That's what I said, and then we'll do that little collection. Oh, good. Thank you for those redeems. Thank you, Brady. Almost making up for your rage puffing redeem. Okay. Patrolling the Mojave almost makes you wish for a nuclear winter. Okay. And then. What do you mean almost? I like the rage puffing, but I'm so that I cannot escape it. I will die. You know what? Screw logic. These be fairy tales anyway. Yes, Fallout Classic. I think that's my intro here. Okay, and then now another banger from Generium. Another great insert. Here we go. I always put a ruler under my pillow. That way I can measure how long I slept. It's so stupid. It makes no sense. Thank you, Generium, for those lovelies. Now we start with a page flipping. Let's do that. Woo-hoo. Just gonna adjust. And we got to grab the bookies. I has. Okay. How else would I know how long I've slept? Wow, that was terrible. No, Generium got a great one. Okay, so we start with a little book, stiffer papers, and then a bigger book, fluffier papers. Here we go. Microphone adjustments. Okay, here we go. Oh, it's flipping. Why did I think in my head it was ruffling? Ooh, rewind. Okay, sorry. I apologize. Okay, big book.
Alright, there was our page flipping. Okay. Hello, Cicadel. Hello. Alright, we're jumping into page ruffling. No, we'll do rage puffing and then page ruffling. And then singing frog and stretching and stuff before our next story. Do I want a cookie? A cookie would be nice. But I has no cookies. I would like cookie. I don't has cookie. Okay. Focus, Raven. We're doing rage puffing. Here we go. Do. As much as I am glad you have had fun, and I do understand what you are saying, this is an English stream, so I should keep it fair and say, hey, we want to keep it English from here on. I'm glad you're saying hi, though. Hellos. and the how are yous. I'm glad you're good. I'm glad you're all good. He doesn't want a cookie. Oh. Okay. The rage puffing. Oh my goodness. This fun. If you don't know what it is, have fun. Ooh, okay, I'll say this. Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. Because. My Spanish classes took over. I very much understand. I'm on the same boat. But okay, here we go. Rage puffing. Oh, that's a weird. Only one of them ended up being capitalized. Oh, weird. Not ragger. What? Rage. Puffing. I apologize in advance to anyone that doesn't know what's happening. Okay, it's so stupid. It's easy to learn Spanish. It is difficult to learn foreign languages. I would say it is difficult to learn any language. It is, of course, compounded when you have a bunch of them that you learn, though. But okay, there was our rage puffing. I'm not doing any more for that right now. I will go to page ruffling. Hey, Cicadel, I did say already we're doing English, please. So let's not do that. Yes. Okay. Page ruffling. The one that just got messed with. Yeah, I think it is this. My brain. Okay. Page ruffling time, and again we'll start with the little stiffer book, and then the big fluffy book. I think I will do scissor snips on the next one, Killer Cam, because we've got a few and we're gonna move on to the next stuff soon. But thank you for that, and I will make sure to do that first up on the next go. Oh, thank you for the follow, Stoner Sam 420. Thank you for the follow. Welcome in. All right, page ruffling. I begin. it. No wonder that sounded bad. Okay, there is our little stiff book. The bigger fluffy book. Here we go. Okay, there was our. Sorry, my goodness. There was our page ruffling. Book. Ah, yes. Very good. I'm about to get read. Raven. She brings the pets all out. It is kind of petting the book, isn't it? Oh, goodness. My pets, my pretties. Okay, now we have Singing Frog before we get into the next one. Okay, I'll say goodbye when you went to practice Spanish. Send me a whisper. Okay, bye-bye, Sekadal. Oh, I'm so sorry, everyone. That was very loud. I'm so sorry. Oh, goodness. Thanks for being here. Oh, a little forehead. How did you get the little ombre effect on your little name? That's so cute. It's so cool how you guys pull the stuffs off. It's singing frog time. Doo-doo-doo. And then we'll go into the next. We're going to the next story after that. 7 TV. I should have known. Okay. Oh, wait. Actually, make sure you guys hear that. I'm scatterbrain. I'm very scatterbrain today. Okay, here we go. there was our singing frog. He got a good little time on the mic. And now I need to do my stretch and posture check, and I really need to hydrate and do a big cough. So I'm going to quickly mute and give myself a good big cough and then do our stretches and such. Okay, here go stretches. I can hear my neck crack. I don't think that was on the mic. Okay. And hydrate. Okay. Alright. Let's readjust. Settle in for another story. Wahoo! And then it'll be scissor snips up first when we finish this story. It looks like it'll be a pretty short one, so we'll see it soon. Come on. Okay, so the next story is called The Marvellous Musician. Intriguing. The Marvellous Musician. Wahoo indeed. Alright. Okay. Had to cough? What's the matter? Got a frog in your throat? Sunglasses drop. Boom. Hi, nippies. Hellos. Just going into our next story, so here we go. Hello, Taha. Welcome in. Hello. That was a feminine Wario. If I ever heard one. I'm glad it exists. What would that be? I'm imagining an image that is like a birdo Wario, like a yassified Wario. Wahoo! Okay, sorry. My model looks like Nietzsche? What? Excuse me? Why are we going into psychology? Oh my goodness. Okay. I don't know how to take it. I'm going to read The Marvellous Musician now. Here we go. There was once upon a time a marvelous musician. One day he was wandering through a wood all by himself, thinking now of one thing, now of another, till there was nothing else left to think about it. Then he said to himself, "Time hangs very heavily on my hands when I'm all alone in the woods. I must try and find a pleasant companion." So he took his fiddle out and fiddled till he woke the echoes round. Ooh. After a time a wolf came through the thicket and trotted up to the musician. "Oh, it's a wolf, is it?" said he. "I've not the smallest wish for his society." Okay, wow, rude. We gotta be mean to the wolves? No, I don't like it. But the wolf approached him and said, "Oh, my dear musician, how beautifully you play. I wish you'd teach me how it's done." "That's easily learned," answered the fiddler. "You must only do exactly as I tell you." "Of course I will," replied the wolf. "I can promise that you will find me a most apt pupil." So they joined company and went on their way together, and after a time they came to an old oak tree, which was hollow and had a crack in the middle of the trunk. "Now," said the musician. "Oh no! Ah! Yawned. "Now," said the musician, "if you want to learn fiddle, here's your chance.
Lay your front paws in this crack. Okay. The wolf did as he was told, and the musician quickly seized a tone and wedged both his forepaws so firmly into the crack that he was held there a fast prisoner. Wait there till I return, said the fiddler, and he went on his way. After a time he said to himself again, Time hangs very heavily on my hands when I'm all alone in the wood. I must try and find a companion. You just abandoned the wolf? Like, he didn't do nothing wrong. He was being a perfectly nice wolf. Why the hell did you do that? What the hell? Dude, no. Why are we doing this? I'm so lost. What the hell? Okay. Goodness. Where was? But he's moving on. So he drew out his fiddle and fiddled away lustily. Presently a fox slunk through the trees. Aha! What have we here? That I is one of those weird eyes again. I feel like I should have a tally going at a certain point, where they must have like mis-scanned the paper. Aha! What have we here? Said the musician. A fox. Well, I haven't the smallest desire for his company. You gonna trap him too? Mean dude. Anyway, the fox came straight up to him and said, My dear friend, how beautifully you play the fiddle. I would like to learn how you do it. Nothing easier, said the musician, if you'll promise to do exactly as I tell you. Certainly, answered the fox, you have only to say the word. Well then, follow me, replied the fiddler. When they had gone a by of the way, it just says by. I think they mean to have written bit, but it says by. When they had gone a by of the way, they came to a path with high trees on each side. Here the musician halted, bent a stout hazel bough down to the ground from one side of the path, and put his foot on the end of it to keep it down. Then he bent a branch down from the other side and said, Give me your left front paw, my little fox, if you really wish to learn how it's done. The fox did as he was told, and the musician tied his front paw to the end of one of the branches. Now, my friend, he said, give me your right paw. This he bound to the other branch, and having carefully seen that his knots were all secure, he stepped off the ends of the branches, and they sprang back, leaving the poor fox suspended in mid-air. My God! Just you wait where you are till I return, said the musician, and he went on his way again. Doesn't sound like these poor canids, the dogs here, have any choice. Gosh, okay. Once more he said to himself, Time hangs heavily on my hands when I'm all alone in the wood. I must try and find another companion. So he took out his fiddle and played as merrily as before. Oh, I just realized I should... There you go. He played as merrily as before. This time a little hare came running up at the sound. Oh, here comes a hare, said the musician. I've not the smallest desire for his company. Why do you ask for company and then you get mad at the animals? Maybe you're scared of the wolf. Maybe you think the fox will be sneaky. But what do you have against a rabbit? Huh? Mr. Dude. No. Okay. How beautifully you play, dear Mr. Fiddler, said the little hare. I wish I could learn how you do it. It's easily learnt, answered the musician. Just do exactly as I tell you. That I will, said the hare. You will find me a most attentive pupil. They do. They take odd turns. They went on a bit together till they came to a thin part of the wood where they found an aspen tree growing. The musician bound a long cord round the little hare's neck. Oh, this does not sound nice. The other end of which he fastened to the tree. Now, my merry little friend, said the musician, run 20 times round the tree. The little hare obeyed, and when it had run 20 times round the tree, the cord had twisted itself 20 times round the trunk, so that the poor little beast was held a fast prisoner, and it might bite and tear as much as it liked, it couldn't free itself. Wouldn't it just have to run 20 times the other way? Duh? No? What? Anyway, and the cord only cut its tender neck. No! Why? Wait there till I return, said the musician, and went on his way. In the meantime, the wolf, yes, good wolf, had pulled and bitten and scratched at the stone till at last he succeeded in getting his paws out. Heck yeah! Full of anger, he hurried after the musician, determined, when he met him, to tear him to pieces. When the fox saw him running by, he called out as loud as he could, "Brother Wolf, come to my rescue! The musician has deceived me too!" The wolf pulled the branches down, bit the cord in two, and set the fox free. So they went their way together, both vowing vengeance on the musician. They found the poor imprisoned little hare, and having set him free also, they all set out to look for their enemy. It would be nice, to know that, how the rope cut the hare's neck, that was, helped, but okay. During this time, the musician had once more played his fiddle, and had been more fortunate in the result. The sounds pierced to the ears of a poor woodman, who instantly left his work, and with his hatchet under his arm, came to listen to the music. At last I've got a proper sort of companion. Oh, so you only wanted a human? How rude. Anyway, said the musician, for it was a human being, I wanted all along, and not a wild animal. Rude. And he began playing so enchantingly that the poor man stood there as if bewitched, and his heart leapt for joy as he listened. And as he stood thus, the wolf and the fox and the little hare came up, and the woodman saw at once that they meant mischief. He lifted his glittering axe and placed himself in front of the musician, as much to say, "If you touch a hair on his head, beware, for you will have to answer for it to me." Then the beasts were frightened, and they all three ran back into the wood, and the musician played the woodman one of his best tunes, by way of thanks, and then continued his way. The end. I hated that one. Excuse me? 1, we're scared of a rabbit. Silly. Very silly. 2, you had no reason to trap them. You could just be like, "I'm sorry, I don't know how to teach you. You do not have hands. You need an opposable thumb. You have paws. I am so sorry." No, didn't say that. When you didn't want to, you could have tried to teach them. None of them did anything bad when they were trying to learn. You were so rude. And then the woodsman was going to threaten them. I was hoping that the animals would be able to come up and be like, "Hey, that guy tried to kill us. Look at this poor rabbit. This poor, obviously not a threat, bunny that this guy, tortured. Please stop him. He's an evil musician." And nobody did anything. I hate it. Okay. Sorry. All right. Well, that is that story. That was at the end. We have more to read for sure, but let's go to triggers. Oh! I don't know if we're going to have time. Goodness, this is a longer-ish one? No, we probably have time. Oh, it's the story of Sigurd that's up next. I'm excited. So in the end, nothing happened. What a good bedtime story. In the end, the animals got tortured. The one of them got cut. Animals help. He's trying to kill us, woodsman. Whoa, these gummies are fire. Basically, he was like, he got stoned because of the music, kind of. But I'm reading back and I see, read the original to Snow White or The Sleeping Beauty. We have read those. Those were in our earlier readings. We are so deep into all of these old fairy tales that we have all of the weirdo fairy tales that few people have heard of, is what we have read. Recently we read a different version of Snow White that just weirdly had a different name. I don't think we've done a Sleeping Beauty for a while. That was something. But okay. That was our story, and I'll get to redeems now. Okay, we've got some already stocked up. I'm gonna start with scissor snips and then move on. Oh, come on. Why is that not going? It's taking like 5 clicks now. I don't know why. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Here we go with scissor snips. Alrighty. Oh, there we are. Okay, there was our scissor snips. And I move things around for typing. It'll just take a second. Got the other keyboard out right now, but I will get the clicky clacky keyboard. Okay. All right. Okay, there was our typing. It is the clickety clack. Okay. Paper guillotine. Make room. Have to make room. Oh my goodness. Little bubble wrap got popped out of the drawer. Okay. Paper guillotine acquired.
Here we go. I think, yeah, okay. All right. I went big. That was loud. Okay. Last one. Loud clanking. Sorry for big clankies. Okay. Alright. Alright. That was our paper guillotine. Okay. That was all of our redeems that we have stored up for now. Never mind. I'll do the bubble wrap pops. That sounds good. And then the next story. And then we'll wrap up because I think this is going to be a long one. It'll probably take us a while to get through it. No. There we go. Happy to do it, nibbies. Okay, here we go with bubble wraps. Come to me, bubble wraps. Where did you go? Oh, goodness. You are big. We went smaller. Yes, this work. Here we go. get another one. Okay, there you go. There was our bubble wrap pops. Hi, Scooby Bobby. Hello, welcome in again. Alright, now we'll get back to the next story. Oh, yeah. This one is The Story of Sigurd. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Ooh, nice love number. That's good. Alright, so this is probably our last story of the night, but it's a bit of a time. Yay, it's more than 4. Yes. Alright. Sorry. Yawning. Oh. This starts off with a little kind of warning, I guess. It's cool. I'm excited. Okay. Aww. Frigid has 14% Riz. Scooby, you're going to have to wait. Oh, 13. Oh, that's nice. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. As the little kid at the computer indicates. All right. The Story of Sigurd. We have our little first thing that comes in square brackets. A little warning or something. It says, this is a very old story. The Danes who used to fight with the English in King Alfred's time knew this story. They have carved on the rocks pictures of some of the things that happen in the tale, and those carvings may still be seen. Because it is so old and so beautiful, the story is told here again, but it has a sad ending. Indeed, it is all sad, and all about fighting and killing, as might be expected from the Danes. Oh, 10%, Scooby Bobby. You had too good of a roll for the other two. That's why. But okay. The story gave us the warning. It's gonna be Danish and sad. Brace yourself for something like Hamlet. Alright. Once upon a time there was a king in the north who had won many wars, but now he was old. Yet he took a new wife, and then another prince who wanted to have married her came up against him with a great army. The old king went out and fought bravely, but at last his sword broke, and he was wounded, and his men fled. But in the night, when the battle was over, his young wife came out and searched for him among the slain, and at last she found him, and asked whether he might be healed. But he said no, for his luck was gone, his sword was broken, and he must die. Wow, okay. And he told her that she would have a son, and that son would be a great warrior, and would avenge him on the other king, his enemy. And he bade her keep the broken pieces of the sword to make a new sword for his son, and that blade should be called Graham. Then he died. And his wife called her maid to her and said, let us change clothes, and you shall call me by my name, and I by yours, lest the enemy finds us. And you shall be called by my name, and I shall be called by yours, lest the enemy finds us. So, okay. The queen is pretending to be a maid, and the maid a queen. Fun. So this was done, and they hid in a wood, but there some strangers met them and carried them off in a ship to Denmark. And when they were brought before the king, he thought the maid looked like a queen, and the queen like a maid. So he asked the queen, how do you know in the dark of night whether the hours are wearing to the morning? And she said, I know because when I was younger I used to have to rise and light the fires, and still I waken at the same time. A strange queen to light the fires, thought the king. Then he asked the queen, who was dressed like a maid, how do you know in the dark of night whether the hours are wearing near the dawn?
My father gave me a gold ring, said she, and always, ere the dawning, it grows cold on my finger. The two of you were very bad at pretending to be other people. A rich house where the maids wore gold, said the king. Truly, you are no maid, but a king's daughter. Well, obviously. um, so he treated her royally, and as time went on, she had a son called Sigurd, a beautiful boy and very strong. He had a tutor to be with him, and once the tutor bade him to go to the king and ask for a horse. Because of course. Oh wait, where was I? I looked away. Choose a horse for yourself, said the king. And Sigurd went to the wood, and there he met an old man with a white beard and said, Come, help me in horse choosing. He just like, oh cool, an old man. Hey, join me. What? Okay. The old man said, drive all the horses into the river and choose the one that swims across. I mean, okay. So Sigurd drove them, and only one swam across. Sigurd chose him. His name was Granny, and he came of Sleipnir's breed? Danish words, I guess. I don't know. Sleipnir's breed, and was the best horse in the world, for Sleipnir was the horse of Odin, the god of the north, and was as swift as the wind. But a day or two later his tutor said to Sigurd, There is a great treasure of gold hidden not far from here, and it would become you to win it. But Sigurd answered, I have heard stories of that treasure, and I know that the dragon Fafnir guards it, and he is so huge and wicked that no man dares to go near him. He is no bigger than other dragons, said the tutor, and if you were as brave as your father, you would not fear him. I am no coward, says Sigurd. Why do you want me to fight with this dragon? Then his tutor, whose name was Regin, told him that all this great hoard of red gold had once belonged to his own father, and his father had 3 sons. The first was Fafnir, the dragon. The next was Otter, who could put on the shape of an otter when he liked. Very fitting name, then. Wow. And the next was himself, Regin, and he was a great smith and maker of swords. Dumda, are you listening? Now there was at that time a dwarf called Andvari, who lived in a pool beneath a waterfall, and there he had hidden a great hoard of gold. And one day Otter had been fishing there and had killed a salmon and eaten it, and was sleeping, like an otter, on a stone. Then someone came by and threw a stone at the otter and killed it, and flayed off the skin, and took it to the house of the otter's father. Then he knew his son was dead, and to punish the person who had killed him, he said he must have the otter's skin filled with gold, and covered all over with red gold, or it should go worse with him. Then the person who had killed Otter went down and caught the dwarf who owned all the treasure and took it from him. Okay, so we have kind of like this side story just explaining the death of Otter, which is sad, and all of that. Just a weird little side story, I guess, on that guy. Looks like y'all met my family. Servant wearing gold. I mean, I'm all for progressiveness, but even think that be hard to believe. Yes. But more important is that while the servant had gold, the queen was apparently forced to light fires. In a time of monarchy, that is quite alarming. Y'all watch this. 19. Roll 16. Oh, well, I mean, that helped. It looks like. Maybe. You got pretty good. Look at that impressed frog. The 9 was upside down. Yes, that's what. Okay, I'm focusing. Don't distract me. Jeez. The story already has a story within itself. Like, please. Okay. So, weird specifics about the king Right? It is a king, right? That is Fafnir's. Oh, no. Oh, sorry. Must be a Fafnir's dad is king with the gold and anyway. Weird little story here with the side story of Otter's death, but okay. Person who had killed Otter went down and caught the dwarf who had owned the treasure and took it from him. Only one ring was left, which the dwarf wore, and even that was taken from him. Then the poor dwarf was very angry, and he prayed that the gold might never bring any but bad luck to all the men who might own it forever. Then the otter skin was filled with gold and covered with gold, all but one hair, and that was covered with the poor dwarf's last ring. But it brought good luck to nobody. First Fafnir the dragon killed his own father, and then he went and wallowed on the gold, and will let his brother have none, and no man dared go near it. When Sigurd heard the story, he said to Regan, make me a good sword that I may kill this dragon. So Regan made a sword, and Sigurd tried it with a blow on a lump of iron, and the sword broke. Another sword he made, and Sigurd broke that too. Then Sigurd went to his mother and asked for the broken pieces of his father's blade and gave them to Regan. And he hammered and wrought them into a new sword so sharp that fire seemed to burn along its edges. Sigurd tried this blade on the lump of iron, and it did not break, but split the iron in two. Ooh. Then he threw a lock of wool into the river, and when it floated down against the sword, it was cut into two pieces. So Sigurd said that the sword would do. Yep, pretty freaking sharp. I think it should. But before he went against the dragon, he led an army to fight the men who had killed his father and slew their king, and took all his wealth and went home. When he had been at home a few days, he rode out with Regan one morning to the heath where the dragon used to lie. Then he saw the track which the dragon made when he went to a cliff to drink, and the track was as if a great river had rolled along and left a deep valley. Then Sigurd went down into that deep place and dug many pits in it, and in one of the pits he lay hidden with his sword drawn. There he waited, and presently the earth began to shake with the weight of the dragon as he crawled to the water, and a cloud of venom flew before him as he snorted and roared, so that it would have been death to stand before him. But Sigurd waited till half of him had crawled over the pit, and then he thrust the sword Graham right into his very heart. Then the dragon lashed with his tail till stones broke and trees crashed about him. Then he spoke as he died and said, Whoever thou art that hast slain me, this gold shall be thy ruin, and the ruin of all who own it. Sigurd said, I would touch none of it, if by losing it I should never die. But all men die, and no brave man lets death frighten him from his desire. Die thou, Fafnir. And then Fafnir died. And after that Sigurd was called Fafnir's Bane and Dragon Slayer. Then Sigurd rode back and met Regan, and Regan asked him to roast Fafnir's heart and let him taste of it. So Sigurd put the heart of Fafnir on a stake and roasted it, but it chanced that he touched it with his finger, and it burned him. Then he put his finger in his mouth, and so tasted the heart of Fafnir. Then immediately he understood the language of birds. Oh, cool. Now he can talk to birds. Because he tasted a dragon heart. Cool. And he heard the woodpecker say, There is Sigurd roasting Fafnir's heart for another, when he should taste of it himself and learn all wisdom. The next bird said, There lies Regan, ready to betray Sigurd, who trusts him. The birds speak of concerning things. The third bird said, Let him cut off Regan's head and keep all the gold to himself. I thought that the gold was cursed, though. The fourth bird said, That let him do, and then ride over Hindfeld to the place where Brynhild sleeps. When Sigurd heard all this, and how Regan was plotting to betray him, he cut off Regan's head with one blow of the sword Graham. Then all birds broke out singing. For whatever reason, they have like apostrophe HE for the. all the birds broke out singing. It's silly. It's cute. Two move swords versus European broadsword. Oh, I can't even imagine. Okay. All the birds are singing now. We know a fair maiden sleeping. Sigurd, be not afraid. Sigurd, win thou the maid fortune is keeping. High over Hindfeld a red fire is flaming. There doth the maiden dwell. She that should love thee well, meet for thy taming. Hmm. There must she sleep till thou comest for her, waking rise up and ride, for now sure she will swear the vow fearless of breaking. Okay, go find your sleeping beauty of sorts, Sigurd. I just realized Disney's Sleeping Beauty, they slay a dragon. Is Sigurd supposed to be that? No? Okay. Sorry. Then Sigurd remembered how the story went that somewhere far away. Oh no. Sorry. Okay. Somewhere far away, there was a beautiful lady enchanted. She was under a spell, so that she must always sleep in a castle surrounded by flaming fire. There she must sleep for ever, till there came a knight who would ride through the fire and waken her. There he determined to go, but first he rode right down the horrible trail of Fafnir. And Fafnir had lived in a cave with iron doors, a cave dug deep down in the earth, and full of gold bracelets and crowns and rings, and there, too, Sigurd found the helm of dread, a golden helmet, and whoever wears it is invisible. All these he piled on the back of the good horse Granny, and then he rode south to Hindfell. Now it was night, and on the crest of the hill Sigurd saw a red fire blazing up into the sky, and within the flame a castle, and a banner on the topmost tower. Then he set the horse Granny at the fire, and he leaped through it lightly, as if it had been through the heather. So Sigurd went within the castle door, and there he saw someone sleeping, clad all in armor. Then he took the helmet off the head of the sleeper, and behold, she was the most beautiful lady. And she wakened and said, "Ah, is it Sigurd, Sigmund's son, who has broken the curse and comes here to waken me at last? How did you know, lady? And how long have you been asleep?" This curse came upon her when the thorn of the tree of sleep ran into her hand long ago as a punishment because she had displeased Odin the god. Feels very much like this story got thoroughly washed down and turned into Sleeping Beauty. I think that's what happened. I think that's how this story went. Long ago, too, she had vowed never to marry a man who knew fear, and dared not ride through the fence of flaming fire, for she was a warrior maid herself, and went armed into the battle like a man. But now she and Sigurd loved each other, and promised to be true to each other, and he gave her a ring, and it was the last ring taken from the dwarf Andvari. Then Sigurd rode away, and he came to the house of a king who had a fair daughter. Her name was Gudrun, and her mother was a witch. Now Gudrun fell in love with Sigurd, but he was always talking of Brynhild, how beautiful she was, and how dear. So one day Gudrun's witch mother put poppy and forgetful drugs in a magic cup, and bade Sigurd drink to her health, and he drank, and instantly he forgot poor Brynhild, and he loved Gudrun, and they were married with great rejoicings. How awful! How dare you? But of course, we know it's the witch. Okay. Now the witch, the mother of Gudrun, wanted her son Gunnar to marry Brynhild, and she bade him ride out with Sigurd and go and woo her. So forth they rode to her father's house, for Brynhild had quite gone out of Sigurd's mind by reason of the witch's wine. But she remembered him and loved him still. Then Brynhild's father told Gunnar that she would marry none but him who would ride the flame in front of her enchanted tower, and thither they rode, and Gunnar set his horse at the flame, but he would not face it. Then Gunnar tried Sigurd's horse Granny, but he would not move with Gunnar on his back. Then Gunnar remembered witchcraft that his mother had taught him, and by his magic he made Sigurd look exactly like himself, and he looked exactly like Gunnar. Then Sigurd, in the shape of Gunnar and in his mail, mounted on Granny, and Granny leaped the fence of fire, and Sigurd went in and found Brunhild, but he did not remember her yet because of the forgetful medicine in the cup of the witch's wine. Now Brunhild had no help but to promise she would be his wife, the wife of Gunnar, as she supposed, for Sigurd wore Gunnar's shape. And she had sworn to wed whoever should ride the flames. So yeah, she has to, seeing this guy. But it wasn't actually Gunnar, anyway. And he gave her a ring, and she gave him back the ring he had given her before in his own shape as Sigurd. And it was the last ring of that poor dwarf Andvari. I guess that's why things didn't work out properly, because that ring is cursed. Okay, then he rode out again, and he and Gunnar changed shapes, and each was himself again. And they went home to the witch queens, and Sigurd gave the dwarf's ring to his wife, Gudrun, and Brunhild went to her father and said that a king had come called Gunnar and had ridden the fire, and she must marry him. Yet I thought, she said, that no man could have done this deed but Sigurd, Fafnir's bane, who is my true love, but he has forgotten me and my promise I must keep. So Gunnar and Brunhild were married, though it was not Gunnar but Sigurd in Gunnar's shape that had ridden into the fire. Or ridden the fire. I don't know why I keep rereading that. Okay. And when the wedding was over and all the feast, then the magic of the witch's wine went out of Sigurd's brain, and he remembered all. He remembered how he had freed Brunhild from the spell, and how she was his own true love, and how he had forgotten and had married another woman, and won Brunhild to be the wife of another man. But he was brave, and he spoke not a word of it to the others to make them unhappy. Still he could not keep away the curse, which was to come on every one who owned the treasure of the dwarf Andvari and his fatal golden ring. Aha, see, it was the ring. It was the ring that we must blame. And the curse soon came upon all of them, for one day when Brunhild and Gudrun were bathing, Brunhild waded farthest out into the river, and said she did that to show she was Guirun's superior? I'm guessing Gudrun's superior? For her husband, she said, had ridden through the flame when no other man dared face it. Then Gudrun was very angry and said that it was Sigurd, not Gunnar, who had ridden the flame, and had received from Brunhild that fatal ring, the ring of the dwarf Andvari. Then Brunhild saw the ring which Sigurd had given to Gudrun, and she knew it and knew all, and she turned as pale as a dead woman and went home. All that evening she never spoke. Next day she told Gunnar, her husband, that he was a coward and a liar, for he had never ridden the flame, but had sent Sigurd to do it for him, and pretended that he had done it himself. And she said he would never see her glad in his hall, never drinking wine, never playing chess, never embroidering with the golden thread, never speaking words of kindness. Then she rent all her needlework asunder, and wept aloud, so that everyone in the house heard her, for her heart was broken, and her pride was broken in the same hour. She had lost her true love, Sigurd, the slayer of Fafnir, and she was married to a man who was a liar. Oh, big rage. I love it, lady. Then Sigurd came and tried to comfort her, but she would not listen, and she said she wished the sword stood fast in his heart. Not long to wait, he said, till the bitter sword stands fast in my heart, and thou wilt not live long when I am dead. But, dear Brunhild, live and be comforted, and love Gunnar thy husband, and I will give thee all the gold, the treasure of dragon Fafnir. Brunhild said, it is too late. Oh! Then Sigurd was so grieved, and his heart so swelled in his breast, that it burst the steel rings of his shirt of mail. His heart broke his chainmail shirt? What? I would imagine that is very painful and a medical concern, but okay. Sigurd went out, and Brunhild determined to slay him. You want to slay him? Why do you want to kill him? What? Okay. She mixed serpent's venom and wolf's flesh. She mixed serpent's venom and wolf's flesh. What? And gave them in one dish to her husband's younger brother. And when he had tasted them, he was mad, and went into Sigurd's chamber while he slept, and pinned him to the bed with a sword. But Sigurd woke, and caught the sword Graham into his hand, and threw it at the man as he fled, and the sword cut him in twain. Thus died Sigurd, Fafnir's bane. That doesn't make sense. Sigurd woke and caught the sword Graham into his hand and threw it at the man as he fled, and the sword cut him in twain. But I guess it cut him when he tried to throw it at the other guy? I don't get it, but okay. I guess thus died Sigurd, Fafnir's bane, whom no 10 men could have slain in a fair fight. Then Gudrun wakened and saw him dead, and she moaned aloud. Then Brunhild heard her and laughed. But the kind horse granny laid down and died of very grief, and then Brunhild fell a-weeping till her heart broke. So you laughed first, but now you're grieving? But okay. So they attired Sigurd in all his golden armor, and built a great pile of wood on board his ship, and at night laid on it the dead Sigurd and the dead Brunhild. Wait, when did she die? She was weeping till her heart broke. Oh, wow. Okay. Dead Brunhild and the good horse Granny, and set fire to it, and launched the ship, and the wind bore it blazing out to sea, flaming into the dark. So there were Sigurd and Brunhild burned together, and the curse of the dwarf Andvari was fulfilled. He threw the sword at the man, and it cut that dude in half. This is just words put together. It does feel like that. It does. I'm confused. I know. I feel it too. A lot of this story, I just ran it because there wasn't much to say. There was a lot going on. I was like, okay, yeah, and then, okay, and that one is a wild one, and very confusing at the end. Brunhild was not clear on what she wanted, and Sigurd killed himself while trying to kill someone else. I don't understand. That last paragraph was very confusing. Why was she determined to kill him? And then she wept. Her heart broke, and she laughed, and then what is happening? I was on board for everything until that last paragraph that got so confusing. I got so lost. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, anyway, the end. So, like, it's over. Okay, all right. Good enough. But here's the funny bit. That is the end of the Red Fairy book. That is our last story of it. The next book on the little list seems to be Cossack Fairy Tales and Folk Tales. I can double check the little order of the fairy books. We've done blue, we've done green, we've done red. We could go into the Brothers Grimm book. Other Grimm books. Perrault, Christian Andersen's other books. Ludwig Beckstein. There's a bunch of different books. And then the Cossack Fairy Tales and Folk Tales. But the good news is that I won't worry about it just now. We're going to wrap up for this stream and raid out to somebody, or after some redeems. Yeah, I think we should go to a different anthology groups. We have finished up that little stuffs. But there's our fairy tales. Wow. I have someone to read if you want. Ooh, good. But if you have redeems, we can do them before we do that. I don't need to rush out just yet. We have like 25 minutes before I usually wrap up the stream. I just want to say I'm not going to start a new story because it would be starting a whole new book series too. But yeah.
Ooh, more bubble wrap pops. Glass jar, that's good. Okay. 1 second. Red. Book. Ooh, and I just came in. Aw. Well, thank you for joining us. Don't BT. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for the follow. Oh, you can't hear me. There's an ad. I'll say it again in a second. Okay. Well, we'll hydrate though. Thank you, Scooby Bobby, if you can hear me. Okay. Going to adjust. I'll make sure to be able to arrive earlier another time. Oh, that would be nice. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Again, you didn't hear me. I just read your message. I will make sure to be able to arrive earlier another time. That would be nice. Turn back on the redeem reminder timer. Oh, yeah. It's all good. All right. So we'll do some bubble wraps and then glass jar tappy taps. And probably if you guys have maybe another couple redeems, we can do those. And then we will raid, but we will be raiding. Thank you for joining us, Don't BT. Thank you for joining. Thank you for the follow. We're still doing this a little bit. And yeah, hopefully you can join us another time and hang out properly. But okay, here we go. Gonna do some bubble wrap pops. That's what's up next. All right. Okay. Here we go. Alright, there is our bubble wraps. And we'll do glass jar tappy taps. Yeah, we do lots of fairy tales. I think that's when I do the most is fairy tale story reads. We'll definitely do more. I don't know which ones we'll go with. There's lots of different options. I'm just a little nervous if we go into some of the other ones. We're going to start doing rereads of other things. I'm seeing the Brothers Grimm book. I'm seeing ones that we've done, but then I'm also seeing ones that we definitely haven't done. This one's called Dr. Know-All. And then I'm seeing stuff like Snow White and Rose Red. I definitely read that. There's The Goose Girl and Juniper Tree. We know them. But yeah. Anyway, okay. Okay. Kate, thank you for donating that. Don't BT. You have been given a gift. We have a tradition when somebody drops money, we drop our money frog emotes. So let's drop some money frogs for Cage. You did not need to do that, but thank you, Cage. There we go. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay, glass jar tappy taps. What am I doing? That's what I'm doing. Okay. There we go. Ooh, thank you for the follow. Not Apollo. Thank you very much. Welcome in. Hi. Here we go with our glass jar taps. Here we go. Okay, there's our glass jar tappy taps. Thank you for the follow, Lord Horatio Nelson. Thank you. Welcome in. Hi. We're just wrapping up right now. I can get that raid suggestion now fet. Looks like we're all done with our teams. Nobody else has sent anything, so we're gonna prep to go. So sorry for our late joiners that we are headed out, but we will have more soon. Ooh, okay, good for me. Oh, thank you, Scooby Bobby. All right, so I will start the raid in just a second. I'm not sure if I will be streaming tonight still, but I will maybe. And then tomorrow and the next day, I will be doing our fairy tales like this in the early stream and a spoopy stories in the evening. So SCP story recommendations, because we've got still a very big collection of those to go. But all right, thanks everyone for joining us. Have a good night. We're gonna raid out, but I'm going to do my little ending. Okay, let's do Eli 69. Come on, come on. I want to make sure we all copy our Cozy Frog raid messages. Don't forget that when we pop in. All right. Yes. Oh, lots of people. Lots and lots and lots of people. Okay. Here it goes. Alright, I'm gonna start our raid. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for watching. I also have my VODs up on YouTube so you can watch things back. I have to upload this one. But alright, thank you. Bye.